This is a demo. The demo is a compact computer program that generates visuals and sound. A demo showcases the artistic, musical, and programming skills of its creator. This is a demoscener. The demoscener or scener is the creator of the demo. Often, sceners will work together in groups so that individuals can specialize in the field they are good at: coding, music, graphics. This is a demo party. The demo party is a competition where sceners compete against each other to create the most impressive demos. Collectively, the demoscener, and the demo party make up the demoscene, or more simply, the scene, a computer art subculture that focuses on the demo. Most sceners enjoy the challenge of creatively overcoming the limitations of computers. By uniting code with art, sceners are able to produce content that both computer experts and normal people can view and appreciate. By pushing the limits of hardware, the demoscene community demonstrates leadership and legacy in both the video game and music industries. But how do these demos translate into practical applications? And why has the demo scene gone largely unnoticed by the public? And most importantly, who cares? To answer these questions, it is necessary to examine the historical roots of the scene. While demoscene culture did not arise until the 1970s, the demo had already been in production since the first computers came out in the 50s. Here is the first computer-generated demo ever. It features a bouncing ball. Note that the ball moves slowly. In the 1950s, MIT computer enthusiasts were drawing fancy visuals on the oscilloscope peripheral of the PDP-1. Still, these demos were only isolated incidents. This changed in the later 70s with the advent of the first home computers.
In January 1982, the Commodore 64 personal computer was introduced with a 64K built-in memory for under $600.
The Commodore 64, also known as the C64, would become the highest-selling computer model of all time with over 17 million units sold. It was unsurprising when the C64 spawned a massive software library, a TV show,
and I'd like to tell you about the Commodore 64,
and an avid community of computer programmers. This home computer also marks the first time software began to adopt copy protection to prevent the illegal distribution of unlicensed software. With copy protection came copy protection removal. With some clever manipulation of code and data, individuals were able to remove copy protection in games and software. The means of copyright removal was known as a crack, and these individuals were known as crackers. They believed that the removal of software security represents an achievement in skill and knowledge. Often, crackers would add an introductory screen, also known as an intro, with their names as well as the greetings to peers. This form of signing names resembles the way a graffiti artist tags his or her name as an indication of achievement. These intros were often visually appealing, another testimony to skill. This underground scene turned competitive as crackers formed groups to compete with other crackers for the most impressive cracks. It was not uncommon for cracks to be leaked to the public, through hand-to-hand exchange, or by mailing floppy disks, or through some other extremely outdated method of transferring digital data. This cultural phenomenon is known as the cracking subculture. Over time, the intros became so overwhelmingly fancy that groups began releasing intros on their own, solely for the graphics part. So the demoscene culture was born. Demos can be classified into two broad categories: old school demos and new school demos. Old school demos are written for machines like the C64, the Commodore Amiga, the Atari 400 or 800 ST, and the Sinclair ZX Spectrum, among others. These early computers were very limited in processing power. They also had standardized hardware, which meant that variations between demos within the classic computers depends on programming alone. This permits the use of media specificity within specific demo platforms. Because different platforms have different limitations, it is possible to evaluate a demo within the context of its medium, the platform itself. Thus, demo parties separate demos into separate events based on their respective platform. To get the most out of these ancient machines, sceners often use creative programming techniques to overcome the inherent system limitations of each platform. Coders utilize low-level assembly language to exert absolute control over every single 1 and 0 for greater efficiency, not to mention inconvenience. Coders often build their own tools and software because software like Apple's GarageBand or Microsoft Paint simply did not exist. Sceners develop music trackers to write music, demo tools to synchronize visuals with audio, and other numerous specialized tools for creating 3D models of teapots and ducks. Demos are built from multiple scenes or visual effects strung together. Common effects include scrollers, rotozooms, plasmas, ribbons, rotating cubes, and various other polygons. While these kinds of effects may look pretty dumb in today's standard, they actually did things that were supposedly beyond the hardware's original capabilities. They were unprecedented for the time. Demos were not restricted to computers. Any kind of programmable device that could display text or output music was appropriate to make demos. Nintendo Entertainment System, Sega Genesis, Game Boy, oscilloscopes, LCD displays, even this microcomputer from the microwave could be used.
Let's plug it in and see what we can get out of it.
As the 90s approached, technology improved. The introduction of the IBM PC computers created a new problem. They weren't standardized and they lacked significant hardware limitations to overcome. So, seniors began to self-impose artificial size limitations on their programs. Introducing the 64K demo, the demo the size of 64 kilobytes. For a comparison, half a second of music takes up the same amount of space. This new type of coding was called size coding. The gist of size coding is that since storing pictures and audio is expensive, coders simply stored instructions to reconstruct the information wherever they needed through math. This technique is called procedural graphics or procedural coding. Coders have discovered a method to reconstruct a musical waveform in one line of code. Here's a new school game demo. It looks like your average first-person shooter, except it's 96 kilobytes in size. That's right, this entire game is the same size as this one blurred picture right here. That about sums up a brief overview of the Demoscene itself, but why have most people never heard of the Demoscene? There are a few causes for this. First, the scene has its roots in the underground crack and subculture. Second, to appreciate demos, the scene demands a comprehensive understanding of technology and its limitations. Third, the Demoscene is a niche community in the already niched culture of programming. Fourth, most importantly, companies cannot directly commercialize demos, unlike hardcore gaming communities. Rather, the true value of demos comes from the creation of demos which bring about new technology discoveries and tools. Despite its self-contained nature, the scene has had a significant influence outside the scene. Through the creation of new computer software, sceners continually advance video game development. For instance, many groups have gone off to form their own video game companies. Future Crew, an influential demo group, went off to form Remedy Entertainment. These members would go on to create Max Payne, the game to popularize slow-motion replay. The Swedish demo group, The Silence, would go on to create the video game company DICE, which produced the famous games like Mirror's Edge and Battlefield. The famous scener Michael Maimon Monomon, who designed the legendary demo tool Demopaha, became a leader programmer at Crytek on the game Crysis, most notable for breaking milestones in graphics and power consumption. The game spawned a catchphrase when benchmarking high-end computers, but can it run Crysis? Spore is another well-known game that relied on procedural graphics to generate its immersive universe. These are only a select sample of the numerous other contributions sceners have made. The Demoscene also brought about the rise in the computer art scene. Pixel art, an earlier form of computer art, was pioneered with the Demoscene software, often without a mouse. ASCII art, an artifact of the cracking scene, was also popular. The chiptune music scene, which is a subgenre of electronic music, is entirely developed by the scene. Music trackers, another software product of the Demoscene, are the foundation for music composition in old-school 8-bit hardware. These trackers permitted musicians to directly program the sound chip for the particular system by entering notes in a table. In 1986, scener Karen Obarski released the Ultimate Sound Tracker for the Amiga. Other sceners modified the code and added improvements, spawning a new tree of derivative variants. This tracking software became standard in the Amiga gaming industry and the Demoscene. Numerous derivatives of the program still exist today. Some notable sceners include Andrew Sega, who did the music for Unreal with tracker music. Peter Hajab, also known as Skaven, was another self-taught musician from the scene. Other notable people include Format, Venetian Stairs, Tim Follin, deadmau5, among many others that all began in the tracker scene. In 2003, Johan Kotlinski made LSDJ, a tracker for the Game Boy. It exploded in popularity, causing the birth of the Game Boy music scene. Prominent artists include Altecher, Anamanaguchi, Pulse. It was popularized in mainstream culture. Chiptune music has even become so popular that it has been plagiarized by other well-known artists. For instance, this Timbaland controversy. Demoscene software ultimately helped cultivate and fuel the creation of other subcultures. The demo is really a strange thing. When people think of art, they think about the final product. A demonstration is merely an indicator, a measure of the potential of the artist in question. Well, in the Demoscene, the demo is the final product. It's true that computer demos are meant to showcase the ability of hardware, but in truth, the demo actually showcases the technical and aesthetic skill of its creators, those who see the beauty of code and labor hard to make it happen.